Nash, man, you still out here walking, bro?
You got jokes. Nah, I ain't walking today, but I'm definitely gonna be walking for Chicago and our people. You know what I'm saying, man? It's just, you know, I got to do something. And I've been protesting, I've been speaking out for the community, and now it's time to walk. 12 years in bondage, now I'm about to turn it up. I'm about to walk to the White House from Chicago, or Chiraq as some people want to call it. I call it Chi-Town. But from Chicago to Washington, D.C. to the White House.
Damn. Wow. Okay, man. Nash, D Nash, aka hashtag who is D Nash.
Right.
Just caught you outside, you know what I'm saying, walking the street. You recently went on Instagram, made a post that you walked from 167th and Kedzie all the way to 67th and King Drive.
Yeah.
Do you know how dangerous that journey of a walk is in Chiraq?
Well, my thing is, luckily, I just been a man that could go throughout the whole entire city and lead with a lot of love and respect. You know, by me being 39, I come from a time and a place you kind of watch what you said out your mouth, and you watch how you treat others. And hospitality and courtesy and common sense, and you know, that went a long way, because a lot of times when we were growing up or when we was in the game, you could say something, and the same thing you said, depending on how you said it, could get you hurt. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, man, it's just I just lead with a lot of love and respect, and I thank God that, you know, it's reciprocated throughout the entire city.
Okay. So you said I was, you know what I'm saying, outside when I caught you walking, that you're doing it for the city of Chicago, for everybody that lost their life, like the Laquan McDonald.
Well, Laquan McDonald was kind of like my ground zero. It was the moment where I decided as a black man to get up out my bed and do something. And as I started protesting and stuff like that, I had to take a look at myself too, and look at our community. It's not just about, you know, being able to protest about Jason Van Dyke killing Laquan McDonald, a police officer. You know, in the big scheme of things, police violence is minute to the violence that's already in our community. 4,400 people were shot last year, 680 something deaths. As I just felt like, man, I had to do something. Just like I could speak against police violence, I could speak against the violence that's in our community as well. We got to hold ourselves accountable. You know, the killers are our brothers, sisters, cousins, relatives, and my whole thing is, if it's not cool for it to happen to me and my family, it's not cool for it to happen to somebody else's family. Okay. Period. You know, so that's what we dealing with. That's the situation, and I'm for our entire city. I'm not for no certain gang affiliation, none of that. If you're a good person and you're from Chicago, or you from any other city that's struggling like we're struggling, Memphis, you know, shout out to my homie Big Juke, you know, with CMG, my people out in Miami, you know, all through the country, poor people are going through the same things. Let's
get it from the beginning. When we say hashtag who is D Nash, where you from, brother?
I'm from 35th and State, you know what I'm saying, my affiliation, Black Disciple. 35th and State, 35th Finest, you know, man. And
you're the same guy that was incarcerated in your previous life with Chicago rap legend Bump J.
Yeah, you know, that's my homie. It's a famous picture of me with dreads. I got a Jesus piece with dreads on it, you know what I'm saying? So when they talk about the savage and this and that, I often have to remind the guys, like, I was one of y'all. You know, don't get these boats.
So you had 30s?
Yeah, of course. I had the 30s.
DEs, Glocks.
Desert Eagles. I was known for that. I was known for wearing backpacks with drugs, money, and guns in it. And I also was known for, you know what I'm saying, getting a lot of money. So, you know, but now I wear that backpack still, but it keeps my hopes and dreams in it.
Wow.
You know, my backpack has business plans, replace guns with helmets, business plans, things that I'm working on. You know, Bump J home. a lot of the influence and the stuff that I'm doing now was out of one conversation that we had one day when we was on the yard. And I asked him, I'm like, Bump, did you understand your power and influence in the moment when you had it? And he told me, he said, man, D, right before I left, right before the feds came and picked him up, he was getting it. But in the moment, he didn't. So one of my mandates to come home before he came home was to get men like you, Zach, and other influential young kings of our city and queens to understand their power and influence in the moment. A hindsight is 20/20. That means you missed the opportunity. I want Lil Durk to understand his power and influence. King Louis, Ty Money, Valley, Lil Reese. I want them to understand their power and their influence in the moment. Even you, you know, when we first met, I asked you, you know, did you understand your power and influence? And a lot of times when you in it, you don't. You know, when I had power, being co-minister on 35th, I didn't understand the magnitude. But I came from a time when I knew that based on my actions, it affected so many other men. So I watched a lot of the things that I did. You know, it's not cool to create an environment for which you don't want your kids to live in. But everybody don't have money to move out, to move to Atlanta, to move to California. You know, you say you care about your people, but all your people can't leave. So for me, you must make the environment for which you live in better, so you don't have to move.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so when you was currently incarcerated in the feds, that's when you came up with the proposal. When you get out, you're gonna replace guns with hammers and help Chicago.
Yeah, see, to replace guns with hammers it came also out of me protesting. You know, since, like I said, since the Laquan McDonald tape broke, I've been out of my bed. So my whole thing with replace guns with hammers, it was like a realistic goal. It was something, when you talk about a poor community, and I take the race out of what we're going through. When you talk about a poor community, you're going to have these four things. I don't care if it's lily white in America. You're going to have police violence because police don't respect poor people. You're going to have corrupt politicians because those same politicians understand that poor people don't follow money. And since poor people don't follow money, they don't understand about TIF funding and stuff like that, and certain monies that's allocated to your community. So they don't understand that. So what politicians in those poor communities usually do, they usually start trying to put people on that they could get kickbacks from. Wow. You know, it's a lot of pay to play in poor communities because they feel like poor people ain't watching the money anyway.
Okay.
So then you go have a poor educational system, because in poor communities in America is based on your taxes and stuff like that, your educational system. So if in a poor community, most people's not paying that high of a tax rate, so of course your school system is affected. And the last part is when you in a poor community, number 4 is you're gonna have dilapidated and buildings and crumbling infrastructure. And that's where replace guns with hammers come in, because you have all these abandoned buildings in our community. So why not the people of the community buy the properties and put these young men and women to work? So that's really replacing a hammer with a working hammer. So it's a hammer for a hammer. It's some slick, you know what I'm saying? If you think about it, it's slick, hammer for a hammer. But we're putting these young men with guns in their hands and hopelessness in their eyes, out of getting them out of the streets and into the trades. And unlike politicians and other people, I have the credibility to go and talk to them, and they know that I care about them, and they know I love them, and they know I'm not going to put them in any situation but one to win. And if it don't work for them, it don't work for me, period. Wow.
And this is the same guy that put Rico Reckless and E-Day in the same room and took a picture together.
Yeah, you know, and that was the catalyst for, you know, the change that's coming. Whether certain people like it or not, it's going to be a change in this city. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, you know, that's just real. Like, man, it's just certain things that we may have to do to get it together, but it's certain sacrifices that I'm willing personally to make in order for our city to get better, period. And I put the Rico Reckless situation together with my homie Whole Thing. And what ended up happening, you know, E-Day came down with some hyenas. I told him, nah, everybody ain't coming up. And I meant it. You got one hyena, it's only one joint between both of y'all, it's only one pistol. And we went up there, and you know, it was a beautiful moment. Rico told him, you know, he had been listening to his music, this and that. It was some mutual respect there. And Rico was like, man, you think I could get a picture with him? I'm like, I'm alright, bro. E-Day was like, yeah. You know, and one thing about it, kudos to both of them, because it was at a point when it hadn't been done before yet. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And, you know, with anything, it's growing pains. You know, I don't expect it. The problem didn't happen overnight. So it ain't gonna be fixed overnight. It's right. Baby steps, period. Mm-hmm. I always put myself at having realistic goals. You know what I'm saying? You know, certain people got a little upset with me because I was close to them, and I understand it. But at the end of the day, I love our city enough to say it's bigger than one personal relationship. And so I was willing to sacrifice a few relationships in order to get the city together. But, you know, man, I know one thing about me, man, the people that know I care about them, they'll come back around, because that's just what it is. You know, personally, when you in my call log, you go get all the life lessons that I learned the hard way, 8 years of being incarcerated and 4 more years being on federal probation. You go get prayers, you go get words of wisdom, and I can't tell grown people what to do. All I ask of the men and women around me, I ask and suggest. That's it. I can't tell nobody what to do. I'm not trying to be no ambassador. No one man sit here and say he got the key to Chicago, he the gatekeeper, this and that. So if you say you the gatekeeper, then who is Bumpy Johnson? Or who is a D Nash? Who is a Zach TV? You can't be disrespectful. You just come from a great town, and you happen to be one of the great men or women from this town. Wow,
wow. Well, with that being said, okay, so you're putting together guys from different, you know what I'm saying, gangs.
Yeah.
In Chicago, one
right.
from this side, the other from this side. You put them in one room taking a picture.
Yeah.
But you also stopping a lot of shit across the borders, like across state lines. Like when King Yella and Duck and Black them got into it with Young M.A.
Yeah.
I was there to capture that moment.
Yeah.
You put that together.
Yeah.
Talk about that, big bro.
And what I want to tell y'all, man, when you know Chicago is a gangster and a gentleman town. We ain't never been too much savage. We ain't never been. Look, man. If a person was meant to get it, he got it. Period. And that's what we need to get back to. But as far as the Young M.A. situation, it was a situation where I made contact with him. First and foremost, I wanted to do a concert. Young M.A. hadn't never been in Chicago. So I got some guys around the city with them with some liquid assets. And they got some money around. So I'm like, look, I probably can get her for a player price. So that started the dialogue with her management. So when it happened and it caught fire in the city, when she said the smoking hookah like I'm smoking Tuka line, and the Young Yella and King Yella and all them got involved with it, I reached out to her management, and I was like, look, man, it's a firestorm here in Chicago. You know, Young M.A. may not know, she may know. But it's very disrespectful to talk about a young man named Tuka. He's a young man that, you know, died about, you know, what they believed in. And I just don't believe in speaking on the dead.
Right.
It's very disrespectful. I don't agree for Chicago to talk about our dead people, but I'm definitely not agreeing upon someone from the outside. And it wasn't no gangster, nothing. I got Young M.A. management, my homie Sleep. He's part of her management team, and Jason is another guy. And I got them on the phone. We talked, but you know, Yella, he ended up doing. You know, he told me later. He said, "Man, the guys got to me," but he personally talked to him. We were supposed to, you know, have a day or so time between, you know, her making the public statement or she didn't know or whatever, but Yella went ham, and you know when them boys get to doing their drugs and get amongst each other, you know what it is. And but it all worked out. So when she came here for the 21 Savage concert, Sleep, the first thing he said was, "Where Yella at?" On some real live, you know, gangster. So I called. I thought Yella was in Las Vegas, but Yella wasn't in Las Vegas. I told him to come on. Once again, I ain't let him come with no whole entourage. Ain't gonna be, cause you got them hyenas. I can't wrestle with 2-3 of them. You know, so you know it was a beautiful thing. They chopped it up. You was there to capture the moment, and and the rest is history.
Okay, you just said that outside of speaking on, you know, disrespecting the dead that's in the city of Chicago, we disrespect ourselves, you know, as Chicagoans, but outside is just a no-no.
Man, it's house rules, man. You know, the reason why New York, the reason why Atlanta winning, you know, I'm pretty sure all these places have beefs amongst each other, but when New York go outside of New York, they looking for New York. When Atlanta go outside of Atlanta, they looking for Atlanta. Chicago allows people to come in and be divisive, just like the, you know, T. Greasley thing that just happened. I was on the phone with some people from Detroit, and my whole thing is, okay, T. Greasley make the comment this and that, and then he runs over to Lil Reese and them at O Block. I have no problem with that, but the problem that I have is that we allow outside people to create disturbances in our community, and then they leave. They ain't left no resources, they ain't left no money, they ain't left nothing, and they gone. Just like when Soulja Boy came and I was on top of that. That was the first Zach TV interview.
Okay.
You know, my whole thing is, like I said, I don't mind. I do mind the disrespect between ourselves. But what I'm not going to accept is somebody from the outside doing it. Like, that just ain't cool. In no form, no fashion. And, you know, what I really want people to get back to is when they meet a Chicago man, you meet a person that's God-fearing. We spiritual men in Chicago. You're a gangster, you're a gentleman, but you also should have Southern hospitality. Learn how to welcome people in your home. Learn how to welcome people in your city. And we go for a lot further. First of all, man, we set a lot of paces. You know, so instead of being, you know, groupies and goofies, let's get back to being gangsters and gentlemen and learning how to balance our city.
Wow. That's
because to me we got 2 G's and it ain't gangster and gentlemen right now. It's groupies and goofies. And I can't tell who which is which. We have a lot of great men here, but they kind of stand off, and that's when I'm telling the great men it's time for y'all to step back and get back in the fold, because we got a lot of people that's representing our city and they ain't doing a very good job.
Wow. Are you a fan of this new genre of music?
Yeah, man.
Drill music?
I mean, I just, you know, I accept it. You know, when it was my time, my daddy told me, and you know, my father was in the game, but he was a Vietnam vet and he worked. But he used to tell me we messed up the game. So every generation looks at the next generation as messing things up. You know what I'm saying? My daddy thought I lost my mind. Shout out to Jermaine Dupree. We was just there when I turned my pants backwards in 6th, 7th grade, looking like crisscross. You know, so it's just, you know, it's different. It's always different. But what I try to do is I try to meet you where you at, and I say love you where you at, and then build you up to where I want you to be, and get you to think. Like when I told you you was a media mogul. You not just know anybody. You's a person that has a hell of a platform. Just me getting on this camera right now, I know 30, 40, 50,000 people just off the jump go watch this. 1,000. That's power. You know what I'm saying? That's a great influence. But at the same time, what is you using your platform for?
Right.
Where is the next big thing for Zach TV? Where is the next big thing for, you know, the next artist? One of the artists that I'm really liking right now is Valley. Parquet has a really good tape out. PC. Time Money. course, Bumpy Johnson home. Stunt Taylor. Know my little brothers, they gonna be mad. FBG Duck, I really believe he can make some good music if he stop gang banging so much. But that's little bro. Rico. Just everybody, man. You know, I be at every show. I support the entire city. So, you know, it really ain't personally about me liking it. It's just accepting that it's their time and trying to be a guide and just give them life lessons, you know, and just really wanting for them what I would want for myself, and not wanting to eat off you, but eat with you. You know, I ain't looking for no handout. I'm looking for us to get money together. You know, it ain't a I and team, but it's a I and win, because if I don't do my part, then the team don't win.
Most definitely. I got a question for you, man. Who next in Chicago? Who gonna be the next best star in Chicago? I know you talked about.
Man, I think Valley and Ty Money, man.
Really?
I think they really got it right now. Valley's so dope, man.
Valet, yeah.
Yeah, Valet is so dope, man. Like, man, that kid can go, man. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put together somebody that can really be the balance in our city. Like, Chance is doing a really great job. Chance gave hope to the hopeless. I love Chance. I have a relationship with his father, Cam Bennett. He advised me on a lot of things. Like, he's a really great man. And I see why Chance is making the moves he's making and has the outlets that he has. But I need someone that's a little bit more gutter and have a street to him that can really balance it to where, you know, the next person, he go get a balance. Like, it's cool to be affiliated or know these people, but you can still be yourself. And I think Valet is going to be that one to do that, along with Ty Money, you know. And that's that lane. That's the lane that I'm liking right now.
That's dope.
I'm liking that lane.
What's your ultimate goal? Man, walking from Chicago to DC. Do you know how many days it's gonna take you to get there?
Between 30, 40. Realistically, 30, 40 days. And like I say, man, I'm walking for us. I'm walking for not just Chicago. I'm walking for every urban environment that's suffering from poverty, that look like us, that must understand that we're not the enemy. You know, we fighting the same battle. We fighting the same structure. The same structure that's constantly putting us, you know, as the consumer. My ultimate goal for it is just to have awareness, you know, the gun violence that's plaguing our city, the fact that our kids don't have good educational systems, community centers not looking like us. You know, they say they do a community center in our community. And I know you like the Croc Center. But when you took me to the Croc Center, it was $10 to get in there.
Right. On
a daily pass. Now, how is the natives of Roseland go afford the Croc Center when this lady's already on welfare and she got 3, 4 kids, and each of them it costs $10 to get in the Croc Center? It's gentrification, bro. Like, they know that the natives not gonna be there, but guarantee you, that's what I'm fighting for, the community. My initiative, Replace Guns with Hammers. I want to come back and be able to get these aldermen to donate some of these structures that's crumbling in our community, and get these young men and women to work. Because after you do the building, then there's property preservation involved, where you creating alarm services with these kids. Then in the winter, snow services. So there's a bigger picture, you know what I'm saying, of all this. And it's not just about the structures, it's about developing these young men's minds. Because just like when they took the projects, but if you don't change a project mentality, you put a project person in a mansion, pretty soon they gonna be pissing in hallways, because this is outside and this and that, because you didn't change the mentality. And that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to give y'all all my life lessons that I learned the hard way, and allow y'all to be way better and way sharper and way stronger, mentally, spiritually, and physically, than I ever was.
Wow. How big is social media to you, Nash?
Man, it's really big. It's really great. But people use it for the wrong reasons. Like, I came home and the things that I hear, people expose. But, you know, man, like that once.
Speak on that.
Oh, well, I hear.
The things that you hear, people expose. You got to speak on that. What do you mean by that, brother?
Well, I hear my drug dealing.
Okay.
I hear my gun toting. Only the people that were supposed to know knew. I didn't get on no. We didn't have those platforms to do it, but I remember taking a picture, a Polaroid picture. I had about 60, 70 grand on the floor. Me and my homie, my big homie, actually, Spider. He's just a big influence in my life. But we was on the floor. It was about 50, 60, 70,000 on the floor, and I took a Polaroid. And the big homie, and he's going through something right now, man. May God bring peace to him. But my big homie, Big T, we took the picture, and I brought the Polaroid like it was something cool to do. And we had snapped a few of them, and he like, give me them pictures. I'm like, okay. He get to ripping them up. He like, man, we don't show this shit. This ain't what we do. We don't expose our hand. And from that moment on, I never took a picture with money. Never took a picture with a gun. Never done none of that. Like, he made it, and that's what a big homie does for you. Because all my big homies really was like 10, 12 years older than me. The closest one to me was about 5 years. Rest in peace, Juicy, my cousin. So we took losses, like everybody, and that's another thing, like everybody be talking about, well, the war keep going on because woo killed woo. If you look at statistically, it was worse back then. It's just like social media. Right. But the thing about it was, we had to, it was about money. So we had to,
social media, you were talking about the social media.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing, like, we just didn't expose our hands, and you know, man, so the police and the feds is daily talking about it. And then, you know, 600 Breezy just got into a situation because of social media. You know, he was on probation in Iowa, and then, you know, he was posting a lot of things, and then he got to his PO, and man, the homie is fighting a situation, and I hope he come from up under it. But I mean, a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. He don't have to always learn from his own mistakes. Like, that's another thing of being with a big homie. He didn't went down the road that you going through, and maybe he can stop you from going, you know, in that hole. You might go in another hole, but you ain't going that one. Right. He kept you from it, and he got eyes that done seen what you ain't seen. And that'd be cool, bro. Like, I love my grandparents, bro. Like, it's just certain things that I'm not willing to do around my own mom. Everything is about respect, man. You know, so with the social media, you just better respect your freedom. Because they taking it.
Wow. So why is it a fad right now to like, not, I ain't gonna say smoke a dead person, but to kill somebody without thinking about the repercussions? Why is it so popular now?
I mean, you know, man, it's always been murder. The United States was built off murder. Taking land and doing the Native Americans. If you talk to a Native American, he'll tell you. America was built off them people killing a whole lot of Native Americans. So it's like, it's not unusual. The thing about it is, it's not respecting the dead and smoking on the dead and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I cringe. Because, you know, man, it's just something about that. Like, that just ain't cool. It doesn't sit well with me. And it wouldn't sit well with a real man, a woman. So, you know, man, it's just, and these young men not thinking about the consequences. I always wanted to get away. Right. You know, with the people you know, I know personally. You have done some gruesome things in your life in order to be even associated with some of my guys. You know, and I just never glorified.
Do you think, in your like personal beliefs, that Chiraq can go back to Chicago within the next 5 to 10 years? Yes or no?
I mean, overall, I mean, some people gonna have to die for things to get better. Some people gonna have to go to jail. That's just the law of nature. Like, you know, people die for others to live. Animals get killed for others to live. That's what goes on in an urban environment. Do I condone it? No. But the more men and women that's about something come back to the community and buy houses and mow their lawn and care about a village. It takes a village, bro. Like, even with all I've done, I'm still a little dot in a huge pond. I'm just a little ripple in a big old Lake Michigan. You know, and I just feel like the more people come out that's really about something, the more it's like when the lights come on when you got roaches. Soon the lights come on, the roaches disperse. When real men and women come out, boys and girls sit down. They disperse. It's just that for the last 15, 20 years in the city, the boys and girls been able to play. Now it's over with.
Okay. Wow. That's deep, big dog. That's deep.
Yeah.
I want the people to follow you, man. What's your name on social media?
Nash 425 Instagram. I'm gonna be doing a GoFundMe for the walk from Chicago to the White House, not just Washington D.C. I ain't stopping till I touch them gates at the White House, bro. I got a business account, like, because I know how people may not want to sow into the man. They want to sow into the movement. Because I'm just a man. I'm just a man that's just trying. But the movement is going to outlive me. Replace Guns with Hammers going to outlive me. It's my legacy to my kids. So I do have a Bank of America account for, and, you know, my BOA say replace guns with hammers, and that was one of the happiest days of my life when I could have a bank account, a business account that say replace guns with hammers, and I'm just an agent of a bigger entity, a bigger enterprise. Yeah, I do business, but I do business for replace guns with hammers. I don't do business on my own accord.
Wow.
So, you know, man, it's bigger than me, man. I suffered for depression for like 3 years after my father passed. He passed 9 days after I got out of the halfway house. So that was my introduction to freedom. And I was just existing. I wasn't living, and there's a difference. You know, and we do have mental health in our community. And it's just, you know, we do suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome disorder, whatever. And we do suffer from it because it's not normal for people that we love to get killed every day, every week, funeral after funeral after funeral after funeral. You know, that's how they used to break slaves. They used to have all the slaves come out and then kill one of the strongest men, hang him, mutilate his body to break all the other slaves. You know, do you know what that does to the psyche of a people, that the strongest slave in the quarter, a white man to come and put a noose around his neck and hang the shit out of him? That's the same thing we doing to each other. We just shooting them. We mutilating each other's bodies. We got 30s, so we hitting the person 18 times. When you hunt an animal, a hunter try to shoot a one shot, one kill.
Yeah.
Because if you shoot it that much, the meat ain't no good. So we ain't even letting our meat be good after we kill people. Man.
Wow. So, wow. Nash, man.
What it is.
We talked about everything. The movement, the war in Chiraq within itself, other guys coming to Chicago, the music industry, everything, your part in the music industry. What artists you collaborated with, that you worked with.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
You know, when I first came home, I was with Lil Durk. And I warned Chino before he got killed. And his lady can testify to this. He was on Roosevelt. He had lost his fob, the little starter thing to your key when you have a push button start. And he didn't have his gun on him. And it's like 1, 2 in the morning, and I'm like, bro, you worth 1 million points. What's wrong? How you ain't got it on you? She ain't got it? Like, nah. And I end up having to take him from down there to Dante, like around the corner from where my grandmother stayed. And even then I told him, bro, what is you doing? And then, you know, man, my heart was broken because he was a good kid. And 2, 3 months later, he get killed on Stony Island.
When you work for 1 million points, do you think you should have a gun on you, or you think you should just stay out the way?
Man, look, man, my whole thing is, man, I told Eddie Johnson myself, I'm not going to tell these young men to put down their guns if I don't have a safer environment for them to go to and something to replace that gun with. Because for a young man in the ghetto, that gun means shelter, that gun means food, that gun means money. It means a lot of things. And if I can't put them in a safe environment and get him out of harm's way, I'm doing him an injustice to ask that young man to put down his gun, knowing that he's going to be a sitting duck in his community where his opposition hasn't gotten what D. Nash put in him. That's why you got to love your enemy. I didn't understand that until I loved Dirk and them so much that I wanted to talk to King Yell and them. Let me see what they about. I didn't go over there because I shunned my little brothers. Because I'm going to always be who I am with the BDs. It's never going to change. But in order to get the city together, I got to love the enemy of my loved ones. Because when money brings lack. When you got money, you riding the nice cars. You wearing the best jewelry. You going downtown. You out of the neighborhood. So that's a lack in itself. Because you know it's still driving while black. So you can't keep that gun on you like that. So if you can't keep that gun on you like that, but your enemies ain't got no money or as much as you, so they still riding around savages. Nah, you know what D. Nash gonna do? I'm gonna go over there and make Yella and get with Yella and them and make sure they know how to get some money. So now when y'all see each other downtown, y'all both lacking. Y'all both ain't got y'all guns on you. So even if y'all talk tough and it's a fist fight, we can live with that. But money brings lack. So I want everybody to get money so they can start living good. So everybody be lacking at the same time. So then I don't have to worry about going to no funerals.
Excellent. Excellent. Incredible. D. Nash, I want to thank you. I want to please give a big shout out to Zach TV, Big Dog.
Man, you know, man, Zach, man, you started off rough.
Mm-hmm.
I came to you and said, you know, you know, it was a time when we killed the messenger in Chicago. And you looked at me like, man, who the hell is you talking to, buddy? Because you ain't no little guy. And I'll be laughing at people who think you an easy win. And you're in that gym.
Man.
And I know. I see your hands. I know you go beat somebody up. So, you know, but you saw me and you always told me, you know, my what you say? What's your famous line? Your handshake matches.
I always say D. Nash handshake matches his smile.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you know, and that's what I try to do, man. You know, when you doing work like I'm doing, they looking for the chinks in the armor. They looking for the contradictory. And that's why I'm careful, because integrity is not being somebody, but who you are when you by yourself. You know, one of the guys walked up to me, my homie Casper, D-Boy Customs. He didn't walk up, he was in the van. And he said he seen me. So he spin around to make sure I was okay because I'm doing this walk. I'm training. And he said, man, I was spent around to see was you okay, but to see also was you go get in the van. And nah, ain't no rides here, buddy. I'm on a mission. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get in no car with if I can't walk to 67th and King Drive from 167th and Kedzie, how I'm gonna walk to the White House?
Exactly.
I got the train. I'll be a damn fool to think I'll go wake up and just wake up in August and walk to the White House. So big shout out to my little brother Zach, man. He always is a source for me of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I learn a great deal from my little brother, and we feed off each other. It's been times he called me, and I had man, incredible experience, especially with the So Def situation, meeting Jermaine Dupri father and all those type of things. And then I'll call him or I'll be out. A lot of Dave East situation. Look, oh, hold on, we in, what y'all mean? We in Promontory and Zach can't get back here. Nah, we ain't gonna do that. So, you know, you definitely an ambassador, you definitely a media mogul, and we go turn this thing up a notch. We go get some M's out this city.
That's it, that's the ultimate goal, man. Zach TV, we salute and we honor you, big homie D Nash. That's it, man. Stay blessed, brother.
Yes, sir.